If you're currently in the throes of being a music major, please tell me. Write some sort of comment to let me know that you're enduring the traumas. Say something like, my lips are bleeding. If at any time you've made the brave decision to pursue a major in music at university, you know this story pretty well. Usually it happens around the fall semester of your sophomore year, so you're not fresh in it anymore. The excitement of your freshman year has ended. The gratification of being able to study this full time, you're out of high school, or if you're a non-traditional student, you finally get to pursue your passion. And that has faded by this point. You are experienced enough. You know what you've gotten yourself into. You're a little bit daunted of what's to come, but yet you have your basics underneath your belt. You got a senior recital down the road. If you're music ed, you got a student teach, and you got practicum, and you got those higher level classes. You're not quite done with music theory, not quite done with oral skills, not quite done with keyboarding either, but you got a little bit of experience in it. So that's where you're at. Now, you go to Thanksgiving, and you got finals coming up, you got your juries coming up, and your relatives begin to ask, hey there, Jake, how's college? And you respond with something like, it's going okay. I'm really trying to figure out music theory right now. Secondary dominants are kicking my butt. That's great. Aren't you concerned about making some money or making a living? It's just tough for artists these days. Or it might be something along the lines of, you are just so brave for pursuing your passion, or good for you for paving a way. You're going to make it. And then you also have that one family member who is a musician or has some experience in music, and they approach you and they say, oh, I'm just so glad we got another musician in the family. Anyway. So you get bombarded with questions, you get bombarded with doubt, you get bombarded with all these unsolicited things, and still at the end of the day, you're very not sure if you even want to do this. That was me. In the middle of my sophomore year, I probably told my parents I was thinking about changing my major 5 to 10 different times, between I wanted to go into nursing, I wanted to go into music business, I wanted to go into teaching something else like math or science, but I stuck it out, and I'm really glad that I did. And I think, looking back, if I could tell myself, if you're a music major now, I would tell you, these are the 5 things that keep you going. They give you a little bit of hope, especially when things are really tough. All sort of stack on each other. They can be take piece by piece or one at a time, but I really believe that they build on each other as you go, and you experience them in different times. If 1 and 2 don't give you any sort of hope or excitement, maybe 4 and 5 will. So please stick around. So here are 5 reasons you should major in music, honestly, or why you should stick it out, and what people don't necessarily tell you what you're getting yourself into, but they don't also tell you what it means to finish it. The first is community. When you're in music school, you are around different musicians. You're forced to, between marching band, concert band, symphonic orchestra. You need to take ensembles. You do all sorts, large chamber ensemble, solos, and you just learn how to play well with others in a variety of contexts, with different wind instruments, string instruments, pianos, percussion. And it's kind of hokey and corny, but it teaches you how to be in community in a way. It teaches you how to relate to others, and teaches you about different kinds of friendships you might have, because when you're a music major and you're befriending other music majors, are just generally weird, and they are all over the place in terms of personality. And it's just a beautiful thing that I really think that you gain if you do decide to become a music major that's pretty unique to what we do. The second thing is versatility. You learn not only old music, but you learn how to play new music. You learn how to play weird music. You learn how to play pop music. You learn how to play jazz. And where else do you get that than an undergrad in music? It's really exciting to be able to not only excel at your instrument, but also to read different types of music. For me, it was stepping into our jazz orchestra. I learned how to read really fast. I learned how to read high-tempo sheet music, and I learned how to sight read it well. And I have my professor, Thiede, to thank for that, because he put charts in front of us all the time just to try them out, just to get a hang of it. The more we did that, the better we got, and the more we were able to play other hard things. The third thing is virtuosity. You begin to meet people who are better than you. No matter who you are, you need that in your life. You need to meet people who are better than you at your instrument. And it's sort of forced because you come in as a freshman or a sophomore. Inevitably, most of the juniors or seniors are going to be better than you. And occasionally you come in as a freshman and you might be the best kid on the block to sight read and perform and get in the highest ensembles. But at the same time, there's always something for you to learn, because even if you are the best, you might be the best at classical style and not necessarily jazz. So you can still learn from the best jazz players. And if you're the best jazz player, you still have a lot to learn from the music business pop musician. And if you're the best in that category, you can learn from the musicologist and the music theorist. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to be the best at something. So if you find yourself as a freshman or a sophomore in music school and you're discouraged because there's no place that you're really shining, hang in there a little longer and you'll find your niche. You'll find what your strengths are in terms of music. There's lots of categories. If it's not theory, it's composition. If it's not composition, it's singing. If it's not singing, it's instrument playing. If it's not instrument playing, it's instrument repair. If it's not instrument repair, maybe it's just public speaking and teaching. If it's not teaching, maybe it's music business and you start a really cool business. So there's just lots of, when we say music, it can be so generalized and it can be so compartmentalized and seem so limiting. But there's a lot of really cool things you can do within your music major and explore different avenues to grow in. And that openness you can carry into your career and be very valuable, because it just seems like you get a business degree, you get a marketing degree, and there's not that degree of, and maybe there's not that sense in those, when you major in those degrees, you can still be highly open, but at the same time, when you are in a field where it's competitive, plus there's lots of opportunity, it's your time to shine and you have nothing to lose. The fourth reason you should finish that music degree, you should major in music in general, is perpetuity. And I say that because no one can take away your music, the voice you have, your music skills. No one can take it away except for yourself. Now, there's life events where you get into an accident and God forbid you become disabled and you can't perform, you can't sing. But at the same time, we have this fear that if I don't use it, I'll lose it. And that's just not necessarily true. And certainly you may lose parts of it, but it never really goes away. And you can carry the knowledge that you have with you. What you have in terms of your skill set, your practice habits, your discipline, and that you finish all 4 or even 5 years of your music degree, no one can take away that knowledge from you. You can always apply it, whether you're 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, and beyond. And that's just a beautiful thing, something invaluable that they don't really talk about when they talk about the merits of getting a music degree. Because it kind of goes into a sub-point of perpetuity, that you're always marketable, you're always employable. You can, just because you get a music degree doesn't mean that you can't get new skills later too. Shoot, I'm a financial advisor for a Fortune 100 company. I went through my music ed degree thinking I was going to be a band director. I then applied and got into composition degrees. I thought I was going to be a composer. I thought I was going to be a music professor and teach composition. And then I worked at a warehouse for a year, and I thought I was just going to go into leadership and become a warehouse director. And then now I've landed myself with a financial advice firm for professors. And even though I did 10 years of music school, I found that I can be very successful at what I do, just as passionate and sometimes even more passionate, but I'm still helping people. And even though it's not anything related to dominant sevenths or Neapolitan chords or set theory, I can still take away my habits and my disciplines from my music degree and apply them into financial advice, into studying, into practicing finance and learning and keeping up with trends, and also giving people counsel and just being generally open and learning new things, because it's a field that's always changing, especially with the tax law and retirement laws and securities laws. So in perpetuity, you are always going to be valuable in the sense that what you learn in music school, you can apply to any field. I have friends that went on to become amazing computer scientists working for some of the FANG companies, Facebook, Apple, Google, Netflix, the rest. And yet, I'm sure they don't regret getting a music degree themselves. So there's just because on paper band directors don't make as much as doctors doesn't mean that you can't be a doctor one day. It's amazing to me how many of my friends that I graduated music school are now in medical school or doctors. So don't be discouraged by dollar amounts, because sure, anyone could get a pre-med degree and study biology, but how many can study music and be just as intelligent to pass the MCAT or get a high score on their MCAT? I don't know how that works. But you can only get a music degree once, in the sense that you can study in tandem music plus pre-med. You can study music plus marketing. You can study music plus business. You can study music plus math. And in terms of, it gives you an interdisciplinary perspective. What did Leonard Bernstein say about that? Oh, here it is. So apparently he said he's well known for a strong belief in the interconnectedness of different fields of knowledge. He expressed this through a statement, quote, "The best way to know a thing is in the context of another discipline." So my final thought is, I guess my final reason you should continue or finish your music major, you should study music in general in the first place, is that it's about originality. You find your voice and who you are supposed to be. And it takes a long time to do that. It takes not just a year, it takes 2 years, and not just 2 years, but 3. And then finally not 3, but 4 years 4 years of practicing, rehearsing, composing, arranging, learning to find who you are and who you want to be in the future. And it maybe you don't solve all your answers in one setting, but you start a trajectory and you start down that road. And I know myself, I got really, depressed after I finished music school, because it's all I had ever known. I just knew going down this path. But would I wish I had a mentor to encourage me in my music field, tell me that this is just the start, and how lucky are you to find the road. And I think music school sort of serves as finding the road for you to continue on after you're done studying and you graduated. So community, versatility, virtuosity, perpetuity, originality. All these things are more than valid. All these things are big reasons why I think if you're in the middle of a music degree, if you're thinking about getting a music degree, you should pursue it. So please subscribe, follow me, leave a comment on your thoughts. I want to hear what you think. If you're currently in the throes of being a music major, please tell me. Write some sort of comment to let me know that you're enduring the traumas. Say something like, "My lips are bleeding."